When you meet a female covert narcissist, you won't spot her right away. She doesn't roar like the obvious toxic ones. She whispers. She plays quiet. She hides her claws behind a smile. That's what makes her dangerous. Her entire game is about subtlety. She knows how to make you question reality without ever raising her voice. The most dangerous manipulation tactic she uses is emotional starvation. She withholds affection, attention, and validation. Not because she's too busy, but because she wants you begging for it. One day she floods you with warmth, the next she acts like you don't exist. That push and pull is her weapon, and she knows it hooks men deeper than anything else. She creates dependency by giving you just enough love to keep you invested. It's like she's a dealer and you're hooked on her approval. Every crumb of attention feels like a feast, and you start working harder and harder to please her, not realizing she's engineered this cycle on purpose. And here's the scary part, she never admits it. She'll play innocent, act confused, and make you think you're the crazy one for noticing. That's gaslighting at its finest. She twists your mind until you start apologizing for things you didn't even do. Her most dangerous trick isn't yelling, it's silence. That cold shoulder isn't just her being moody, it's her way of punishing you without saying a word. You feel like a kid being scolded, desperate to earn her warmth back. And when she finally gives it, it feels like heaven. But that's not love, it's control. She's a master of playing victim. The covert narcissist will cry, break down, or talk about her trauma whenever she feels you pulling away. Suddenly you're not allowed to leave, because how could you abandon someone so fragile? That's the guilt trap, and it works on countless men. But her manipulation runs deeper. She knows how to plant seeds of doubt. A casual, "Are you sure you can handle me?" or "You're not like my ex, are you?" makes you prove yourself endlessly. Before you know it, you're dancing for her approval without her even asking. She also uses triangulation like a sniper. Maybe she casually mentions another guy who wanted her, or how someone else complimented her. She's not saying it to share. She's saying it to make you compete. You'll find yourself fighting for her attention, not realizing she's orchestrating the whole thing. The danger of this tactic is it eats at your self-esteem. You start to feel like nothing you do is enough. And that's exactly how she wants you. Insecure, off balance, and craving her validation. Even when you try to set boundaries, she flips the script. Suddenly, you're too sensitive or overreacting. She paints you as the problem while she sits back, calm and composed, watching you defend yourself against accusations she created. Her manipulation tactic is deadly because it's invisible. She doesn't need to yell, she doesn't need to rage. She manipulates in whispers, silences, and subtle digs that cut deep. And by the time you realize it, you're already emotionally addicted to her approval. The covert narcissist thrives on control. She doesn't want love, she wants power. And she gets that power by making you feel like the relationship depends entirely on your effort, while she floats above it all, untouchable. The moment you recognize this game, the illusion shatters. But until then, you'll think she's just different, misunderstood, or complicated. That's how she hides in plain sight. Her most dangerous move is convincing you that leaving her would make you the bad guy. That's the trap. She doesn't chain you physically, she chains you mentally. And when you finally try to pull away, she dangles just enough affection to pull you back in. That cycle is endless unless you see it for what it is. A manipulation tactic designed to drain you dry. The female covert narcissist doesn't destroy men with fire. She destroys them with frost. Cold, quiet, subtle manipulation that makes you question your worth. That's why her most dangerous tactic isn't what she says, it's what she withholds. She starves you until you mistake breadcrumbs for a feast, and that's how she keeps you trapped. If you've ever felt like you were losing yourself in a relationship, like you were working overtime just to get the bare minimum, chances are you've already felt the sting of this tactic. The moment a man wakes up to the manipulation of a covert narcissist, the game changes instantly. What once felt like love now looks like strategy. And when you see the strings, you're no longer the puppet. That's where your real power begins. When she withholds affection, instead of chasing, you go silent. Instead of begging, you go cold. You match her distance with even greater distance. And suddenly, she's not in control anymore. you are. Because the one thing she fears most is losing the supply of attention she feeds on. The covert narcissist thrives on reaction. Whether you get angry, sad, or desperate, it feeds her ego. But when you stop reacting, when you give her nothing, you starve her game. She can't manipulate silence. She can't twist words you never said. She can't punish a man who refuses to play. This is where most men fail. They confuse silence with weakness. They think if they don't respond, she wins. Wrong. With a covert narcissist, silence is your deadliest weapon. It strips her power and forces her to face herself, which she absolutely hates. She'll test you, though. Oh, she'll try every trick in the book to reel you back in. Tears, fake apologies, subtle guilt trips. I can't believe you'd just walk away after everything I've been through. But this time, you don't buy it. You see the performance for what it is, a manipulation tactic. The second you stop chasing her crumbs, she panics. Suddenly, the woman who acted cold now blows up your phone. She wants to know where you are, who you're with, why you're not reacting. She'll even accuse you of being heartless or selfish. That's not love speaking, that's panic, because her grip on you is slipping. And here's the beauty of it. When you stop being predictable, she loses the script. She doesn't know what move to make next. Her manipulation only works when you play your part. When you rewrite the script, she's lost. This is when she might shift tactics and play sweet again. She'll flood you with attention, act like the woman you first fell for. Don't be fooled. That's not her changing. That's her baiting you back into the cycle. And if you fall for it, the coldness will return twice as hard. The only way out is to stop engaging entirely. You can't beat a covert narcissist at her game because she wrote the rulebook. But you can flip the board over by refusing to play at all. And here's the secret most men never learn. Covert narcissists are terrified of being abandoned. That's why they cling so hard to control. When you finally stop chasing and walk away, you're giving her the one thing she can't stand. Freedom. Your freedom. Men who master this become untouchable. You stop needing her approval, her validation, her breadcrumbs. You realize her silence isn't punishment, it's peace. Her withdrawal isn't rejection, it's protection from further manipulation. This shift flips everything. The woman who once seemed powerful now looks small. The games that once drained you now look childish. You laugh at the same tricks that used to trap you. And the covert narcissist? She's left scrambling for a new target. But let me warn you, when she realizes she can't manipulate you anymore, she won't walk away gracefully. She'll smear you, lie about you, try to make you look like the monster. That's her final tactic, reputation assassination. But if you stay solid, it bounces right off. Because once you've seen the game, you can never unsee it. And when you no longer need her approval, her manipulation collapses like a house of cards. That's the moment you reclaim your masculinity. Not by fighting her, not by proving yourself, but by walking away with your dignity intact. The covert narcissist loses power the second you stop feeding it. And once you master that, no woman can ever trap you in her silent, manipulative game again. Her most dangerous tactic may be emotional starvation, but your most powerful response is self-sufficiency. When you become your own source of validation, she has nothing left to weaponize. When a female covert narcissist realizes her manipulation no longer works on you, something terrifying happens inside her. The mask starts to slip. Behind the fake sweetness and carefully crafted victim role, there's panic, pure, unfiltered panic. Because for the first time, she has lost control of her favorite toy, you. She'll replay the whole relationship in her head, searching for cracks in her performance. Where did I go wrong? Why isn't he biting anymore? But the truth burns. She didn't go wrong. You just woke up. And once a man wakes up, he can't be hypnotized again. The covert narcissist relies on predictability. She counts on the fact that you'll react emotionally, that you'll fight, that you'll prove your love. That's her playground. But when you go silent, when you refuse to react, you remove the very oxygen her game requires. She starts suffocating in her own tactics. That suffocation feels like death to her ego, so she lashes out. She might suddenly turn vicious, accusing you of things you never did. She might play the victim harder than ever, posting cryptic messages online about being betrayed, or abandoned. It's all a last-ditch attempt to bait you back in. But the more desperate she gets, the uglier the mask becomes. You'll see anger where there used to be affection. You'll see jealousy where there used to be admiration. You'll see entitlement where there used to be selflessness. The act collapses, and the real her stands exposed. And here's where most men make the mistake. They think this exposure means they've won and can now reason with her. Wrong. You can't reason with a covert narcissist. She's not playing for truth. She's playing for control. And the moment you try to explain yourself, you're already back in the trap. The only true victory is distance. Not partial distance, not let's be friends distance. Complete, merciless, unbreakable distance. Because every crack you leave open, she'll squeeze through, and when she does, she'll reset the cycle. But here's the twisted part. The more distance you give, the harder she chases. It's ironic. She treated you like garbage when she had you. But now that she doesn't, you're the most valuable thing in the world to her. She can't stand the idea that her control has been replaced by your indifference. That's why the silent treatment, her favorite weapon, backfires spectacularly when you master it yourself. She goes cold to punish you, expecting you to crawl back. But when you go colder, when you master the art of emotional detachment, she crumbles. Now she's the one stalking your socials. She's the one blowing up your phone. She's the one gossiping about you just to feel relevant. And the funniest part? You're not even watching. Your silence is louder than any argument. This is where the covert narcissist faces her ultimate nightmare: irrelevance. She built her entire identity around manipulating you, and now without that, she's exposed as empty. Nothing terrifies her more than that emptiness being visible. She'll try to replace you quickly, parading a new guy around as proof she's moved on. But don't be fooled. That's not love, it's damage control. She's trying to convince herself and the world that she's still desirable, still in control. But deep down, she knows she lost the one battle she thought she'd never lose. Because when a man finally sees through her manipulation, she can't use it again. The tricks are dead. The guilt trips don't land. The love bombing feels fake. The victim act looks pathetic. And she knows it. That's why her rage grows darker the longer you stay silent. You've denied her what every covert narcissist craves most: your energy. And without it, she has to face herself. For someone like her, that's worse than death. So she'll spiral. Smear campaigns, pity parties, desperate, accidental run-ins. It's all noise. And yet the quieter you stay, the louder she screams. The more she tries to prove she's unaffected, the more obvious it becomes that she's completely undone. And you win by doing nothing, by living, by thriving, by showing through your actions that she never had the power she thought she did. Because the most dangerous manipulation tactic of the covert narcissist is only dangerous if you engage. Refuse to play, and she destroys herself. The female covert narcissist begins her game with love bombing so intense it feels like destiny. She'll study you, mirror your values, reflect your dreams, and make you believe you finally found the one. But this isn't love, it's data collection. She's taking notes on what makes you tick, because she'll use those same buttons against you later. Once she has you hooked, the manipulation begins. It's never obvious. She doesn't scream or threaten. Instead, she plants seeds of doubt. A little criticism disguised as concern. A backhanded compliment hidden under a smile. She chips at your confidence so slowly, you barely notice it's happening. The discard phase is her favorite weapon. She goes cold, distant, detached, acting like you don't matter at all. The goal? To make you chase, to make you beg, to make you work harder just to earn back the affection she used to shower on you for free. She loves watching men dance for her validation, but here's where the game flips. When you don't chase, when you refuse to play her discard game, she panics. Her silence was supposed to control you, but your silence stings 1,000 times more. Suddenly, she's the one who feels abandoned, rejected, irrelevant. That's when she moves into hoovering mode. The name comes from vacuum cleaners, because that's what she's trying to do, suck you back into her orbit. She'll text out of nowhere. She'll accidentally bump into you. She might even cry and beg, swearing she's changed. But it's not love, it's strategy. She can't stand the idea that you escaped. Narcissists see relationships as ownership. In her mind, you're property. And if you walk away, she doesn't just lose a man, she loses proof of her power. That's unbearable for her fragile ego. the hoovering gets creative. She might send you nostalgic photos, reminding you of the good times. She might play sick or claim she's in danger, hoping your empathy drags you back. She might even use other people, your friends, your family, mutual contacts, to pass messages along. But the key is this: none of it is real. It's all bait. The moment you return, she'll reset the cycle. The love bombing comes back, but weaker. The manipulation returns, but harsher. The discard hits faster, and every time you lose a little more of yourself. This is why the covert narcissist is so dangerous. She doesn't blow up like the overt kind. She doesn't show her hand. She plays the long game, and she hides behind fake vulnerability. You think you're protecting her, but really she's draining you. Men who don't see the cycle get trapped for years. They keep believing the next sweet version of her is the real one. But it's not. That version only exists to keep you hooked. The real her is the cold, manipulative, entitled woman who emerges the moment she knows you're fully invested. And here's the brutal truth: the only way to win is not to play. Every time you try to reason with her, you're feeding the cycle. Every time you defend yourself, you're giving her ammo. Every time you break no contact, you're resetting the game in her favor. That's why distance is power. When you refuse the hoover, when you ignore the bait, when you block the access points, she's forced to face herself, and that's her worst nightmare. Without someone to manipulate, she's nothing but a fragile ego, wrapped in fake charm. Her desperation grows the longer you hold the line. At first, she'll be subtle. A text here, a like there. When that doesn't work, she escalates. Angry messages, smear campaigns, playing the victim in public. She'll throw every tactic she has at you, hoping something lands. But if you stay silent, if you refuse to be pulled back in, she eventually burns herself out. Because all her energy is being spent trying to control someone who can't be controlled. And that's when the truth finally hits her. She's lost. And losing to a man who saw through her act is unbearable. She'll try to rewrite history, painting herself as the one who left. She'll try to convince everyone you were the problem. But deep inside, she knows the truth. You saw her game, and you walked away. The covert narcissist thrives on confusion. She doesn't want you to see the manipulation for what it is. That's why her favorite tactic is gaslighting. She'll twist your reality, deny obvious truths, and make you question your own memory. You'll find yourself apologizing for things you didn't even do. That's the trap, getting you to doubt yourself so much that you depend on her version of reality. Then there's triangulation, one of her most dangerous weapons. She'll bring another person into the dynamic, an ex, a friend, even someone random on social media, and subtly compare you. Why can't you be more like him? She'll say. It's designed to make you insecure, jealous, and competitive, fighting for her approval. Meanwhile, she's sitting back, loving the power. Projection is another brutal move. Whatever she's guilty of, she accuses you of. If she's flirting with someone else, suddenly you're the cheater. If she's distant, you're the one being cold. If she's manipulative, you're toxic. It's psychological judo. She flips the blame on you so she can stay untouchable. And don't underestimate the silent treatment. It seems small, but it's devastating when used by a covert narcissist. She withdraws affection, stops talking, acts like you don't exist. To a man invested in her, this silence feels like torture. But that's the point. She wants you desperate for her attention again, willing to compromise just to end the Cold War. The pity play is another signature move. She'll cry about her tragic past, exaggerate her struggles, and paint herself as the eternal victim. She knows men are wired to protect and save, so she exploits that instinct. You think you're helping her heal, but in reality, you're handing her the keys to control you. When all else fails, she'll resort to sabotage. She'll undermine your friendships, mess with your career, or destroy your confidence subtly. She won't throw a grenade. She'll loosen the screws until everything collapses. Then she'll stand there ready to comfort you, making you even more dependent on her. Another covert move is intermittent reinforcement. One day, she's sweet, loving, affectionate. The next, she's cold and distant. The inconsistency keeps you hooked, always chasing that good version of her. It's the same psychological trick casinos use. Random rewards keep people addicted. And the truth is, She doesn't love you, she loves control. Everything she does, from the fake tenderness to the cold discard, is about maintaining dominance in the relationship. Once you see that, her tactics lose their shine. She also thrives on secrecy. She hides parts of her life, tells half-truths, and keeps you guessing. The less you know, the more she controls the narrative. You'll find yourself trying to figure her out, but that's the trap. You're playing her game instead of living your life. Another covert tactic is image management. To the outside world, she's sweet, kind, generous. To you, she's cold, manipulative, controlling. She counts on people not believing you if you expose her. That's why so many men suffer in silence, because she's already built her good girl mask in public. One of the darkest tactics is future faking. She'll promise you a dream life together, marriage, kids, happiness, just to keep you locked in. But the future never comes. It's just bait, a carrot she dangles so you never walk away. Covert narcissists also love to weaponize intimacy. They'll use affection to reward you when you obey and withhold it when you resist. This turns intimacy into a tool of control rather than connection, keeping you desperate for approval. She may also use flying monkeys. These are people she manipulates into doing her dirty work. Friends, family, even your own circle. Suddenly, you're hearing her words come out of other people's mouths, pressuring you to bend to her will. And perhaps the cruelest tactic, devaluation. The moment she senses you're too comfortable, she'll start tearing you down, your looks, your success, your masculinity. She wants you insecure so you never realize you can do better. His cycle of manipulation is designed to wear you out. The highs feel euphoric, the lows feel crushing, and the longer you stay, the harder it becomes to leave. That's why so many men stay stuck in toxic cycles for years, thinking they're the problem. But the truth is, the problem is her. She's engineered her entire personality around control, validation, and power. And no amount of love, patience, or sacrifice can change that. The only antidote is clarity. Once you name the tactics, gaslighting, triangulation, projection, they lose their power. The fog lifts. You stop reacting, you stop chasing, you stop explaining yourself, and that's when her game collapses. Because at the end of the day, the covert narcissist's biggest fear is exposure. Once you see her clearly, once you stop playing her games, once you refuse her manipulation, she loses. And nothing terrifies her more than losing control of a man who finally woke up.